Hey family, there are very few times in my life where I crossed the finish line and it felt like a win, right? Because for me, it was out of sheer exhaustion that I crossed that finish line and won. And how many things in your life, family, can you think about where winning didn't feel like winning? Where winning felt like work, where it felt like you were doing more than you thought you could ever possibly do, and it didn't feel good and it didn't feel celebratory. Because sometimes, family, I learned that winning doesn't always feel like winning. And I want to talk to you and give you some reasons on why that feels that way. One of the reasons why winning doesn't always feel like winning is because you experience a lot of physical, a lot of mental discomfort. You know what I mean? Like you experience so much pain internally, sometimes externally, when you're doing the best thing that you can for yourself. So many of us have left relationships that we were in for many, many years, and it took strength and courage, effort and energy to leave that thing. So many of us have left jobs that we were at for years because we never thought that we could do any better, or we were afraid to leave, or we thought because we were at the top of our game at that job, right? At the top of our game at that job, that was the end all be all for us and that we could never have more than where we were. And we realized, family, at the end of the day, having the ability to leave the things that we never thought we could leave takes strength. That's winning. But it doesn't feel like it's winning because it feels like pain. It feels like work. It feels like, if you're speaking in terms of a relationship, it feels like you're a loss. Like you're losing a part of you, like you're losing a person that you love, like you're losing a relationship that you've identified with. It doesn't feel good. And so many of us, family, when we're walking away from something, it doesn't feel like a win. It just feels like we're walking away. And we question ourselves. Did we make the right decision? Are we going the right path? Did we do the right thing? Is this for us? So winning doesn't always feel like winning when you're in the process of doing the things that you believe is best for you to do, but may not impact everyone else in a positive way. That may not feel good to everybody else, where your decision may not be the decision that's shared amongst all. But it's still winning because you're physically exerting yourself. You're mentally exerting yourself because you pushed yourself to the limit, where you're feeling mental exhaustion, mental fatigue, physical fatigue, stress. You're feeling all the things. So how is that winning, you ask? How is that winning when it feels like I'm losing? And family, I'm here to let you know it's winning because you're moving to that next level of your life. It's winning because you're getting out of a thing that you no longer want to be in, that doesn't serve you, that doesn't serve the greater good of your family, that is not taking you to a better future, that doesn't feel good because it is not good. And sometimes when we're not strong enough, we make the decision, and when we get to where we need to get, we can't stay there, and we go back to past patterns, back to old ways, back to old people, back to old environments, back to old situations, because we thought that our winning wasn't winning. We thought it was work. We thought that our winning wasn't winning. We thought it was a bad decision. And I commit to you, family, that a lot of things that you do, only in hindsight is when it's 2020, only when you can look back and see that the decision that you made was the best decision for you is the only time that sometimes you can know that you're winning. Because winning doesn't always feel good when you're doing it. It doesn't always feel good when you're doing it. And like I said, sometimes it's through sheer exhaustion that you cross any finish line of yours where you actually won. And sometimes winning doesn't feel like winning because you want to quit. You're looking at your situation like, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing every single thing that I need to do, and it still doesn't feel like winning. It feels like I'm losing. It feels like no matter what I do, I can't please this person. No matter what I do, I can't get a good accolade on the job. No matter what I do, I can't get to where I need to be. How is that winning? It doesn't feel like winning when you want to quit, when everything in your external environment is telling you no. When everything in your external environment is giving you confirmation that you can't change, or that you can't grow, or that the situation will always stay the same, it doesn't feel like winning. But family, you are winning. You are winning by the sheer decision that you're making to do better, by the sheer decision that you're making to say, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to live in lack. You're winning because you're telling yourself that you are. Because at the end of the day, circumstances don't matter. And circumstances don't matter, family, because they can't matter. Not when you're moving forward. Circumstances can't matter when you're moving forward because you can't allow the noise happening on the outside to block or cause interference or create even more distractions than you need when you're making a decision to move forward in your life. Winning doesn't feel like winning when you feel like quitting. Winning doesn't feel like winning when you've done all the things that you need to do. You took that chance, you set those goals, you accomplished them, and still you feel like nothing has changed. But family, when it feels like nothing has changed, that's when every single thing in your life is changing. That's when every single thing is lining up. That's when things are not falling apart, but they're truly falling together. That is when you're becoming the highest and best version of yourself. When you're making a decision to move forward in your life and you feel like quitting and you don't, that's when you're winning. When you feel like you want to stop, but you won't, that's when you're winning, family. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you get the thing that you thought you wanted and maybe you felt like it's different. When you get that blessing, that new job, and it's a little harder, that doesn't mean that you're losing, family. It means that you're willing, but you have to become a better version of self to obtain and maintain the thing that you received. Because there's always going to be that small voice in our heads telling us not to move forward. There's always going to be that small voice in our head telling us that we can't do it alone, that we need this relationship to feel good, that even though things are not good, it's better than being single. It's better than being alone. When we hear these voices in our heads telling us to settle in a place that we know we're better than, and not to say that we're better than people, but knowing that we deserve more because we are more. And we can have more and be more, all by making decisions that we want to win and that we don't want to quit. How many times have you gave up on yourself? How many times? I'm going to pause because I really want you to think about that. How many times have you gave up on yourself? Where you know you deserve more, but you settle back into mediocrity because it was comfortable. And I learned, family, that we have to get to that point where we quiet the noise and we silence the voices in our head and we tell ourselves and speak to ourselves and speak life over ourselves to know that we're not going to quit. And while this may not feel good, it is good because I learned that sometimes good doesn't feel good when you've been through so much pain. Good doesn't feel good when you've been living in lack. No, good may not be good for you. It may be familiar. And we're attached to the familiar things. We're attached and married to the pain of the things that we've dealt with. So when you keep moving forward and when you don't quit, it's you winning, even though it doesn't feel like it. And winning, family, doesn't feel like winning when it's uncomfortable. When something's uncomfortable, it's almost like if you think of levels, level 1 through 10, right? You're at 10. So you're at the top of your level. But when you go to that next level, number 11, you're now in level 11 to 20. So you're at the bottom of a new level. And sometimes it's so comfortable staying at the 10, staying at the top level that we are because we're used to it. It feels good. And when we move to the next level, it doesn't feel as good, even though we're winning. Even though we're growing, it doesn't feel good because family, sometimes growth doesn't always feel good. Again, growth doesn't always feel good. It feels like work. And I learned, family, that it's always uncomfortable when you're getting to that next level. Things will always feel uncomfortable when you're growing because you're outgrowing environments that you're in. You're outgrowing the way that you think, your thought processes. Sometimes some of us are outgrowing people. Some of us are outgrowing relationships, outgrowing our old self, outgrowing what we thought we knew and who we thought we were. But when you're winning, family, it doesn't ever really feel comfortable because it feels like uncomfortable growth. And I want you to know that when you feel uncomfortable, sometimes that's often an indicator that you're going in the right direction. when things feel like they're falling apart. Sometimes you're going in the right direction. When things feel like they're just off course, sometimes they very much can be on course. And you have to course correct, meaning you have to speak over yourself and tell yourself, I don't want to break any more promises to myself. That I never want to break any promises to myself. That I'm worthy of a good thing. I'm worthy of a new thing. I'm worthy of going a step further. And I'm worthy of becoming the person that I always knew that I could be. And I'm winning right where I stand. Winning right where I stand, right here, right now, winning, even though it doesn't feel good. Because little by little, little becomes a lot. And when you walk the way is made. And baby steps are still confirmation and signs that you're moving forward. You're still winning. And it's very uncomfortable, but it's designed to be uncomfortable. It's designed to force you and move you and guide you into a new direction so that you can be where you need to be and become who you need to become and win your race. You know that you're winning when you're starting to speak life over yourself. And lastly, family, you know that you're winning when you come to a place of acceptance and surrender, right? You're accepting that things may be uncomfortable in this season, but you're still moving forward. You're accepting that things may not be working out in this current relationships, but you're still moving forward. You're accepting the fact that you're surrendering to God, to Allah, to the universe, to whatever your belief is. You're surrendering because you're trusting yourself enough to know that you're making the decision that you're not going back there, that you're no longer dealing with that. You're not dealing with her. You're done with that. You're moved on from that. You're not dealing with him. It's over, bro. Like at the end of the day, you're not dealing with any of the things that's keeping you in bondage and keeping you in lack and keeping you down because you're winning. And even when your outer environment tells you that you're a loser or that you're losing, even when people tell you that you're not good and you'll never change and you'll never, ever, ever change because you'll always remain the same and keep you and hold you to who you used to be. When people remind you of all of the things that you've done wrong, you know you're doing right because you're speaking over yourself and you're telling yourself, self, this is going to change right now. Self, it's going to be one day or day one. One day I'll change. One day I'll get better. One day or day one, I'm going to make a decision that I want to change my life. Day one, this is the defining moment in my life where I'm deciding that I'm moving forward, irregardless of my external circumstances, irregardless of what this person wants to do, irregardless of what they say about me. I'm winning because I'm making a decision to. And you get to that point in your life where you're speaking life over yourself, where you're moving forward, where you're accepting the things that you cannot change. You're changing the things that you can't change. You have the wisdom to know the difference between what you can change and what you cannot change. And for the things that you cannot change, you're surrendering. You're winning, family. And you're in your winning season, even though it doesn't feel like it. And every little thing that you're doing, I want you to know it's adding up. Every little thing that you're doing is coming together and it's all working together and it's all conspiring to make you great. Every single thing that you're doing is working out for your good. But you have to believe that. Winning doesn't always feel like winning. And that's okay. Because family, we know it's all a part of the process to get us to where we need to go, to make us stronger, to allow us to have improvements, to be better, to do more, to have more, because we are more. And when we cross that finish line, whether you cross it celebrating, you're happy, flowers, awards, all the things, or even if you cross that finish line out of sheer exhaustion that you made it, you still cross that line because you'll always be a winner. Stay inspired.